Hello, this is Ashy. Today I have with me Wa,
Hello.
and I also have Dez.
Hi, I'm sick of clerics.
Wow, there's not a lot going on this dungeon. We've been fighting things, and there's been guest characters, and now it's just empty. Oh no, there's something in the back corner.
Gasp!
Spooky.
What's that?
Oh, it's Norman. Norman. He doesn't have a face yet, but he's kind of hanging out in the background, and he'll be a great subject for a future video. Because eventually we
Not
need to
the
talk about
cleric
combat
one, though.
mechanics.
Because he's
No,
not a
not
fucking
this-
cleric.
He's not a cleric, unfortunately, so he's not a guest star for this one. So,
So hey, I hope everybody's getting as much out of cleric as I am, because I'm already planning a channel build, and I guarantee you it'll be great, and it's going to annoy DMs. Because they're not going to know what the fuck you're doing. You're not going to know what the fuck you're doing. And how does one counter something that doesn't know what the fuck it's doing? It's like Taskmaster fighting Deadpool.
How
don't
can
know
you
what that
possibly
is.
counter me when I don't even know what I'm going to do?
Source, I made it the fuck up.
Alright. So we just finished up some feats to sever them off from the other support. So, this video, let's talk about some equipment and some traits that will benefit clerics. And if we have time, maybe we'll talk about some boons that I managed to find. Some mundane items. They're probably some of the most ignored bits of kit, as their value in a lot of cases is quickly outweighed just by magic or basically whatever. To cover some of what exists here, we have the Holy Text. Yeah, there's
Hey.
not much to say about a Holy Text.
Hey, Ashy.
Yeah?
You know, because Jack has been running around with literally the Holy Book of Pharasma this entire campaign, does he technically own this? And I've just never thought about it.
I mean, yeah, you literally have the Holy Text of Pharasma. You've carried it
What?
the entire campaign.
What does it do? It's not done anything for me. Like,
It
gave
doesn't
him
do
like
a damn thing. It makes for great flavor, and it can be a great vector for the DM to interact with a player. You know,
This is
if they
true.
want to say go through and find strange portents from like Pharasma's book, or look for recipes in Urgathoa's book.
Well, here's the thing. With this item and with Jack, you weren't giving him any portents. I was running a random prophecy generator, having Jack wig out and see if I could force it to fit what was happening, and frequently it did. Which
Which
is
is
kind of
very-
fucked up when you think about it.
Very
That
weird.
was pretty funny.
These
Yeah.
random prophecies I had generated were syncing up with, portenty, omeny variants of what was actually happening.
I mean,
Which confused
Amala's,
everybody, including me.
Amala's also carrying like 3 of these from 3 different gods, but only one of them that she actually follows.
This is
Why?
true.
Because she likes reading, and she
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
care how forbidden the text is. She will still read it.
Character-like book. Yeah. Unfortunately, holy texts in and of themselves, there might be special cases for very specific books out there, but they'll be listed in campaigns. Most holy texts don't actually have a function beyond being a nice, flavorful item.
If a DM wants to be nice, they could probably give you a plus to religion checks on like the particular religion it's for.
That would make sense.
I mean-
That'd be cute.
Pharasma's giving you a +2 bonus, or +3 if it's masterwork or whatever, to key religion checks and to identifying undead, because she fucking hates them, yeah. We never did that. It was funny just for me, Jack, to lose his mind in the pub and make a conspiracy board. But you know.
Yes. And stretch out and add co-conspirators to his conspiracies. Ah, yes,
So,
the twin sisters. What if that just is the 2 rivers?
Well, you see, Jack has leadership and like nearly 100 followers, so there are a lot of Alex Jones style conspiracy nuts just running around with a Pharasman symbol on them.
I still recall when our group's what's it called, Buddy was supposed to go on a date with my character, but Jack was like, "Be careful, he's evil." and when he swung by for the date, she slammed the door in his face because she's looking and going, "How did he know that he was gonna ask me out?"
Bro thought he was the
Wait,
Riz
that was-
Master.
That was Alden, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so Jack basically accidentally started predicting what was fucking gonna happen through his bullshit prophecies from a random... This is great. So, the holy text, wonderful item because we're still talking about it.
Oh,
Does
I wish
nothing.
you didn't stop
Great.
using that.
Yeah, it could have had some real funny times, but you got bored of it, and that's fine.
Jack got bored of it real fast, yeah.
Alright, alright. Let's move on to another item that hopefully does a little bit more.
Ooh.
The portable altar. A baseline portable altar doesn't do anything, but if it's masterworked, it suddenly starts to do some things. Let's just go to this chart here, and to describe what it does, it can give you a +2 to specific craft checks that is dependent on the deity that it's associated with. Furthermore, as long as the altar has craft resources remaining, they can be prayed at for an hour to get a bonus to specific skill checks for an hour. The altar has 20 uses for a craft before needing to be refreshed with 50 gold pieces worth of material. And this is a list of the gods that have masterwork altar rules, as well as the craft and skill checks related to them.
Probably a non-exhaustive list because the DM could very easily slam one together for whatever deity you worship.
This is true. The DM can always rule 0 and create something new for a
So
player.
hey, I actually have a question for you, DM.
I might have an answer.
You reckon you could combine this with reliquary armor to build this into a suit of armor for your permanent consecrate, but also your bonuses, these smaller bonuses? It's mostly
So-
flavor things, but also I bet you could slam them together.
So, my opinion, probably so, but keeping in mind that this thing weighs 40 pounds, you're probably making yourself the Hunchback of Notre Dame doing so.
Okay, look, who doesn't want a paladin or something who's running around looking like a miniature Warhammer Titan with a literal fucking consecrated cathedral on their shoulders? That's just this massive altar. Are you telling me that wouldn't be the best shit ever? Oh yeah, my size category is actually effectively large because I've doubled my size carrying this bitch.
I can't really argue that. That sounds pretty rad, actually.
It's metal as fuck.
It's probably heavy as fuck, too. But, you know,
Okay,
that's
look.
fair. You got your 45 pounds of armor, you got your 40-pound altar on top.
Come on. We've had marshals running around going, okay, what's my lift drag capacity? I've gone off the chart.
True.
I'm wearing my giant stone plate or my war plate, and it's like, this is how much this weighs and my strength. Oh look, Kaflang's carrying literally an entire warehouse and all this bullshit. Is he out of light encumbrance? No. Like, if you're a strength character, you're probably perfectly capable of handling this.
You know, probably. And that could be a hilarious thing.
My paladin might be doing that in the next campaign.
With that said, the purpose of the reliquary armor is already to count as an altar for the purpose of your consecrates. But
Yeah,
the
but you can't do this
redundancy
shit
could
with
be
it.
rad.
But you can't do this shit with it.
Yeah,
Or can you?
Probably.
Like, I'm talking about fusing the functionality. So you've got reliquary armor that counts as a thing, and then you got this, and it's like, yeah, it's all part of my armor. How much does it weigh? More than your house.
A lot.
But that's fine, because it's metal as hell. It's very Warhammer. Mwah. Anyway,
Alright.
continue.
Alright. Aside from costing like 400 gold pieces, I don't think I've got too much more to say about this piece of mundane kit. I will say that there are magical altars that exist, but for the purpose of this video, I don't plan to talk about them just yet.
Oh, okay.
So, let's talk about holy symbols real quick.
This has been an interesting debate for the past 2 weeks.
So, holy symbols come in several flavors, which consist primarily of different materials. There's a couple of other variations, like compartments for holding things, a flask for holding liquids, and also the tattoo for when you don't want to hold or interact with an object. The primary use of a holy symbol is to be used as a divine focus for casting spells.
You say that, but if there is stuff like the alchemical injectors, if it can store a liquid, There are several things it can do now, which is either stab a healing potion into someone, or you ram it into a vampire and inject holy water while trying to stake it with the holy symbol. Apparently your holy symbol's got modifications, and you can become Constantine with that thing.
I have not heard of this holy symbol modification that lets you stab people. I'm all for it. That's kind of rad.
There's an alchemical injector. I'll find it after this thing and I'll show you it.
Alright. We've been, discussing because we are pretty sure somewhere in the rules that divine foci could be used to, like, replace the material component of certain spells. And, we also feel very gaslighted because we can no longer find this rule that we once thought existed. Fun time.
Yeah, the verbiage on certain other things definitely feels like whoever wrote it was potentially remembering 3.5 rules and Neville double-checked it. Neville.
Staggered.
Yeah, so who the fuck knows with this? That being said, since there are different materials of Holy Symbol with different actual prescribed values to them, we might just be extrapolating out and say destruction, which requires a certain value of Holy Symbol.
Yeah,
it could just be a Mandela effect.
There are some other spells that call for holy symbols of this value or greater.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any over 500 though, where there is a use for having a 10 grand star sapphire encrusted holy symbol.
I feel like I saw one.
Yeah, this is the problem. It's
like
maybe continuing to be gaslit by the fucking numbers here.
Right. So, moving on along, a necrotic talisman, I slid it in here because it's an unholy symbol. It grants intelligent undead a +1 channel resistance bonus. It's definitely an item of all time.
I guess that your evil BBG vampire or lich or something who is just stacking channel resistance against if they know a turn undead's coming.
I mean, it is like a free +1 channel resistance for intelligent undead. If it didn't have to be intelligent, like if you could throw this on like your entire zombie horde, it might help your zombie horde out a little bit more. Maybe.
I mean, it's part of the fact that you can build it into other amulets that he could be wearing. He's got it as amulet of natural armor or whatever with a +1 channel resistance just slapped in. There's things you can do. It's not very impressive.
As a mundane object, it could be the base for a greater magic item.
Yep. Pretty much.
Now, the channel.
Now, being fair, however, you could do that with your regular expensive holy symbol because the base material cost applies towards enchantments. It counts as some of the reagents. So a ludicrously... I mean, didn't I have an item that did that? It was the 60 grand fucking golden dress. It's like, well, this counts as 60 grand worth of material reagents for enchanting itself.
By the way, this guy decided that he wanted to buy his character to buy a dress for his main squeeze, and spent 60k on a pure gold dress that was too heavy to actually be worn. Very decorative.
But look, it's covered in diamonds and sapphires, so it's very enchantable. But also, it was one of these cities like the El Dorado style place where gold is cheaper than regular, so its resale value is through the roof.
Yep.
I'm feeling like Amala should probably try and enchant that thing to be like half weight or something, or quarter weight.
Probably.
Yes. We need to graph plate this motherfucker up because if Shalhira puts it on, she's just going to be crushed into the center of the earth.
Rendered immobile.
Rendered flat.
We'll just turn the dress itself into what's it called? A mule back cord comboed with belt of strength. So it just gives you the strength required to wear it.
That might do it.
Would do it.
I might do it.
And then nobody can steal it off her because...
I don't think anyone's
Unless
stealing
they
that
wear
off
it.
of her anyways.
I don't think I didn't mean while she's wearing it, but you try and steal it out of like her house. If you're not wearing it to get the strength boost, you're not going anywhere with that thing.
Ah, yes. Rogue picks it up, pinned to the floor.
Unless you're gonna wear it to run.
I mean, even then, if they've got shit strength and they're just all dex or something, they might just not. It might just not work anyway for them.
You know.
All right.
Oh yeah,
let's-
it reduces your weight it reduces your move speed because it counts as fucking heavy armor. That wrecked.
Oh, that's funny.
So
Let's
channel
reel-
foci.
let's reel it back in. So the channel foci come in like many flavors. I think they're actually an interesting piece of kit. Some are associated with specific deities, but essentially they all activate when energy is channeled into them via channel energy. The authoritative vestments at the top here, when they're activated, they allow the user to diplomance a crowd within 60 feet of themselves as a swift action to improve their attitude. A person can only be influenced by this item like once per day, though.
I mean, sure, but if you're rolling a diplomacy check against someone, you're generally only doing it for that conversation or until you come back to them and then you've diplomacied, so they still like you. It's
Generally
functioning
speaking.
exactly how you are going to be using diplomacy anyway.
I think it's also the most expensive of these items at like 500 gold pieces or something, but for
Here's
what
the
it
thing:
does, it's
this
actually not bad.
this item existing, making you able to address a crowd in diplomacy to improve the thing, which is what the rules basically explicitly forbid doing, makes it something I wish I knew about on many of my characters.
I was just thinking, like, this is a very Jack-coded item. Jack would love this.
Or Trinian.
Trina would also love this. Did he have channel energy as an ability?
I don't fucking remember what Halcyon Druids get. No, I don't think he did.
I don't think he did, so I don't think he would have been able to make use of it, but Jack,
It's
with
very
his channel, would definitely be able to make use of this.
Jim, we're about to fight the last fucking boss. It is useless.
Ah, what a shame. I guess you can pick it up in post. It's still a mundane item that you can just wear over everything else.
True.
So, the bronze gong is associated with Irori. It allows for, like, an Irori worshipper to strike the gong to restore 1 key point by expending the channel that's inside of it.
You know, honestly, since very few monks actually have good ways to restore ki, this could be worth it as just a little.
It lets your cleric convert 1 channel into 1 key. That's
Here's the thing.
not a terrible use.
How much does a bronze gong cost?
This one wasn't very expensive. I don't have the cost on here.
Okay, well my point is, just have multiple of them.
You only need the 1. You just channel into it over and over again.
It's as many channels as you have.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's say you've got channels spare at the end of the day, then you charge up a handful of these. You've
That's
got
fair.
both. Yeah,
But,
like, having multiple of these just saves you resources, because sometimes your cleric finishes the day with channels. So you go, I'm just going to dump them all.
like, as a hypothetical great idea, but the metal gong only will hold a charge for 8 hours.
Oh, I thought... never mind. Well, fuck.
It's essentially just a great
okay.
way to restore the monk's key, should the key need restoring, in the middle of the
So
day.
really, I'm going to say, this is not a monk item. This is an item a cleric might have to help the monk.
Yes.
Okay, fair. Damn, I can't
Or-
cheese it.
Or the monk cleric build that I still suspect Paizo wanted at some point might also benefit from this, because they can restore their own key by expending their own channels.
That's true. See, what what I'm thinking of here is if you go into the custom magic items, you could probably start multiplying its price based on how many charges you could throw into it. Like, you could get this up to a 50 charger, and in downtime, you just... I think that you can do something here with custom magic items by using it as a base point price.
I mean, you can do
Anyway.
a lot of things with custom magic items, so very possibly.
But it's
Um,
existing, give idea.
Yeah.
All right. So, variant multiclass. This works best on a scaled fist. variant multiclass into cleric, and at 7th level, you can channel a number of times per day equal to your charisma modifier +1.
It works.
Why does everything always just roll back around to scaled fucking fist? Ban that class. I am sick of seeing it.
No.
If I see
like
one more
Scalefist.
1-level dip for fucking charisma to AC, I'm going
I
to
wasn't
be
talking
equally
one
angry.
I wasn't talking a 1-level dip. I was talking about for the monk cleric, just go straight monk with cleric as your variant multiclass, and at level 7 you'll be able to do it a number of times equal to your charisma modifier +1. So it works best as a scaled fist.
You cannot logically be reasonable at me in my hate of the scaled fist. Stop it. It won't work.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about a single level dip.
I don't care. I'm triggered. I am triggered now.
That's it. From now on, I'm only playing characters that have 1-level dips into scaled fist, and then everything else.
I feel like limit your characters just slightly.
I don't care.
Anyways.
That's all
I
the
like
point
the
of
charisma
charisma-based
classes.
shit anyway. Yeah. Makes no fucking difference.
All right. Well, let's move on along, shall we?
No,
Scaled
I'm
fist
still
bard.
screaming.
Oh, okay.
Chains
So-
of contrition.
So the chains of contrition, when you channel into them, they basically just become extra hard to escape and break.
Ah, yes, if you really, really, really have to lock someone up and for some reason decided not to use magic to do it or not to beat them unconscious.
Well, hear me out. What if you start with this as a base item, then you magic the shit out of it, and then you channel to just boost the DC further?
I'm gonna say it's dimensional anchor, blah 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 blah. Or your cleric happened to come down with lycanthropy, so you need to have your own manacles on and ready in case you transform.
Yeah, it makes sense, actually. Things that can happen. Be like lycanthrope. Whoops. Guess you goofed somewhere along the way.
Or if you're playing Iron Gods, you become a Were Deinonychus.
I mean, a weird Deinonychus sounds rad as hell.
There was one, we fought it!
I know, it sounds rad as hell.
I wanted to
Unfortunately,
get the,
Moat didn't want to be a weird Deinonychus. And
I
June
know, he
didn't
was
know.
so salty about it. I would have loved that. I wanted to find the Ankylosaurus that was the lycanthropic Ankylosaurus that was apparently down there and be like, infect me, daddy. Imagine June with a massive stunning tail slam? Holy shit, it would have been so sweet.
Yeah, probably why it didn't happen.
Hmm.
Alright, let's migrate down. Consecrated
Driftwood
weapon.
Icon. Oh, never mind, I've skipped.
You skipped one. Consecrated weapon. So, I think this one actually deserves a bit of consideration. It allows the wielder, which could be someone other than the channeler, to strike a foe with it. And its effect is basically that it delivers a mini-channel smite that deals like half the cleric's normal damage to an enemy of the appropriate type, because it's still like either positive or negative energy.
It lasts 24 hours per charge.
And it costs 150 gold pieces to put on like your standard weapon.
That's a very cheap bit of utility from a weapon customization, because 150 GP is nothing.
Especially not in the long run.
kinda wanna grab this and frickin' slap everybody in Dawn's party with it.
Right?
Right?
For 150 gold apiece. Jesus. That's actually not that bad. Like, why do we not have it on? As long as you have someone with channeled smite, this is definitely worth just getting on any of your marshals.
You don't even need channel smite. It just
You just
functions as
channel
a
energy.
miniature. You just need channel energy
Right,
to
yeah.
empower it.
You just charge it.
Oh, that's yeah. No, seriously. If
Look
your
at all
group
these
has a
items.
channeler,
Look at all these things that we could have had from, like, basically day one, and Jack just have more things to fucking do.
I mean,
Do I
right.
really want more things to do?
well, look at
mean-
it this way. It lasts 24 hours. So what you do is you slap it on everybody before we go to bed. 8 hours later, we wake up to continue adventuring, and we've still got this for the entire adventuring day.
Yeah. Just
Damn.
just expend your channels to just empower things.
This entire cleric video series and my idea to make a channel specialist is, I think it'll work. I think we've got some good shit here. Thanks to them, arsehole.
Ah yes, videos. What do they make you do? Read the book.
This is just, yeah, exactly. This is the DM forcibly making me read the SRD.
I know, right? Behold my evil plan coming to fruition.
So this is
Learn,
really for our
motherfucker, learn.
benefit. I was about to quote the meme. Should not.
Alright. Concentrated weapon, good. The driftwood icon. So, when activated, it gives you a buff that lasts for an hour. It's a +1 luck bonus to AC versus range attacks. I mean, this is not an expensive one, from what I recall. I don't remember its exact price. For what it is, it's not terrible. It's low-key associated with Gosray, if that matters to you at all.
I was about to say, this is a Path of Exile item, I'm pretty sure. It's like the first ones you get.
It is, isn't it? Alright. Not much to say about it, unfortunately. The Hallowed Chalice. This one is a little weird. It asks for the recipient to be of the same faith as the channeler. If so, they can drink from the chalice, and it'll be kind of like a potion, whether for like the healing and the effects, or the damage and effects in DC, as though the channeler had channeled on them. It's basically a channel potion.
What's the point?
A channel potion. It's the way that a individual can take it, suck it down, and heal, but they have to be of the same faith in order for it to have any effect at all. And for some reason, it mentions that it'll also do damage if it would do damage normally. And that part, I'm like wondering why you would drink something that's actively detrimental, unless this is like one of those test of faith things.
What are you test of faithing? A fucking undead?
No, it'd be a negative. This would be a culty negative evil like channel-y thing there.
Right, so you don't need to channel to harm or channel to heal. It just infuses it with positive or negative, and the worst happens or the best happens.
Yeah, something like
It
that.
seems to get. It seems to be speaking as though it just becomes raw positive or raw negative, which doesn't care if you channel to harm or channel to heal.
Yeah,
I wonder if there's a way
it's
the
weird.
alchemist, if this functions like a potion or something. I wonder if the alchemist can do something with it and just yeet the chalice at something and blap it. You know?
I mean, it functions as if drinking a potion, but it doesn't count as particularly a potion. And again, it only works on creatures if they share a faith.
That's right. I don't like this item.
It's very weird.
I don't like it.
I think this one might be a DM toy.
Okay.
So the Instrument of the Divine, it allows you to cosplay the Bard by, you can add a bonus to your next perform check equal to your channel dice.
Okay.
And not much to say about it. It's a flavorful
It's also
item.
faith locked. It seems to be faith locked. Once activated, a member of the cleric's faith can draw upon the power.
Yeah. I mean, I was assuming that the channeler would be the one using it, because I'm not going to rely on the Bard being the same faith as the channeler, but if they happen to be, the Bard can get a huge boost to their perform through it, so the Bard might like it.
Let's be fair. A lot of these items are the kind of thing where I'm pretty sure the player is going to be like, oi, I'm going to be of this faith and this and that, and if you pick to be the same religion, even though it has no real effect on your class, I can massively boost your performance. Bard goes, bet.
True. You can't just write down on your character sheet that you are of this faith when you're non-divine, and it doesn't make a damn difference except you get shit. That's true.
I mean, I guess it would expect you to follow the tenets to an extent, but if you're traveling with a cleric, we expect you're going to follow the tenets to a certain extent anyway to not piss off your healer.
Yeah.
Because healing embargoes suck.
Well, it's like Jack and his hatred of undead, and he's like, no one is creating undead. And the wizard or the arcanist is like, but I want to create some undead. No, you're not. And now you're following the tenets of the faith.
A Mala casting form of the undead with a smile, like, I didn't create one. I'm borrowing its form for a little bit.
Alright.
Exasperated healer noises.
Technically correct, the best kind of correct.
Alright.
You're technically being healed, but it's non-lethal temporary hit points. Get fucked.
Oh.
Alright.
technically my nuts.
Okay, so the Iron Eye is similar to the Instrument of Divine in that it's adding a bonus to a check based on channel dice, but this one's Intimidate. So this one's a little bit more generically useful, and especially in combat if you want to shake somebody.
I mean, there is definitely uses for shaking, especially... We've been through all this. It's like, okay, somebody shakes them or intimidates them or whatever, and then the guy with Shattered Defense and Deadly Struck comes in and just mauls them.
Yeah.
Like, there is synergy here with whatever the Marshal's doing, or the Swashbuckler's doing, or the Sword Lord is doing.
Very potentially, yes. Iron Eye is associated with Gorham, but it doesn't look like you necessarily have to worship Gorham to make use of it, unlike some of these.
Oh, of course. Inconsistency.
Yeah. Love it, right?
Mm.
Anyways, an Intimidate check steroid. Probably not bad to consider if you are utilizing Intimidate and have a channeler in the party that's willing to fuel your nonsense. Or or you are the channeler wanting to intimidate people because you just can.
Didn't we have some channeling feats that carried debuffs like that alongside them? I'm sure we looked at those last
Yes.
video. Yeah.
Oh boy, aren't there a lot of channeling feats and non-channeling feats and variant channels and all these things that can interact beautifully together? Anyways,
Except
so...
even these players of 20 years didn't know they existed.
I mean, let's be fair. Who actually looks at mundane items? Because for the most part, at least in 3.5, mundane items were kind of trash, except for the occasional one.
I mean, I knew these were a thing.
You're not
You
a player,
didn't mention
you're a
it.
DM.
You never told me about them.
I've talked to you about some of them, but you dismissed most of them.
Yeah, I just missed the bad ones.
I mean, he also dismissed Fighter, so...
True.
I'm never living this down, am I? It's
No.
like, oh, Fighter's good. Oh no, and then you're like, oh, we're just gonna make sure that you know that you're stupid.
And actually not boring either. It could be pretty freaking rad.
I got
Alright.
poisoned by the
Pathfinder.
anti-fighter propaganda. Okay?
Yes.
I got propagandized by the internet. The Chinese got into my DMs.
Oh, okay, that's how it is.
Blame the Chinese, yeah.
So, the Just Scale.
Okay.
This item's kind of similar to the vestments from earlier. It allows you to diplomacy the swift action, but it doesn't work on a crowd, just one person at a time. And it'll keep its charge for an hour or until it's been used to influence a number of people equal to like up to half the cleric level. Another pretty decent item, and I'm pretty sure this one is associated with Abadar. You might be unsurprised to hear, being a scale.
Gasp.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
I do like Abadar.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Like I could.
He's not a dick. Or not a complete
He's
dick.
not a dick, but you could play like a really funny bean countery accountanty type of cleric.
You can be
really
the
annoying and
tax man.
Yeah, you can be the taxman, the cleric. And while it's... I bet you could play that for some laughs.
Probably could be a good time.
Lock
But
of
yeah.
the saved.
Oh yeah, Lock of the Saved. You know how we were talking about the manacles earlier? This is very similar to those ones. It's like the manacles, but it's a lock instead of manacles. Lasts for 24 hours or until it's forced open. Increase hardness, increase hit points, increase DC.
I could see uses for this early on in the campaign, you know, because in a lot of campaigns you're expecting ambushes, you're expecting to be attacked. Oh, the party's asleep and split up in their tavern. Oh, we're being attacked. They came in through the whatever. You could probably use this in those situations. You're expecting rogues, you're expecting assassins, you're expecting, I don't know, hired thugs. And then they have no choice but to break down the door to get in, which alerts basically everybody in the building, because they're smashing a door.
It's literally a case that anytime you could think of to use a mundane lock, you could instead use Lock of the Saved channel and make it better. And Lock of the Saved's price scales with the base lock. Like, it's like plus 50 GP on top of whatever the base lock cost. So you can put this on any type of lock.
That's
don't
not
hate-
terrible. I mean, to be fair, regular locks, when you start getting into the good quality ones, actually have a very respectable DC.
I mean, the top
So
end's like DC 40, isn't it?
It's something
Something
like
like
that.
And this can make it go higher.
It's especially. I think it
500.
might be especially useful when you're early in the campaign and you're traveling there when they means. You've got a cart and a horse, and your party wealth is. You've not got a big bag of holding now, but you might have a chest or a coffer. You want to keep that safe.
I'm just trying to think of if there's any time where I've seen you guys loot the entire freaking chest to use it to carry your wealth.
We haven't needed to because we've almost always had bag of holdings as far as I know.
You guys did get a bag of holding as early as possible.
I mean, we have been like Iron Gods. I know we were stealing relatively shiny-looking coffers. We've done it in Kai's campaigns. We did it a lot in Skulls and Shackles.
True. But those are also secured on our ship, and if somebody's on our ship and they shouldn't be, then
I mean, Kizin's about to grab them and luchador the shit out of them.
They're about to be off the ship.
Probably unconscious.
So,
chum the
anyways.
waters, lads.
Alright, meditation crystal. The meditation crystal will allow for a monk or a paladin to restore a use of, like, ki or use of lay on hands. It is, I feel a little less efficient to, use this to give a paladin a use of lay on hands, but I guess it's technically not a bad thing.
Is there an evil equivalent for Touch of Corruption and an anti-paladin? Because that's got more uses, since that actually gets used up fairly quickly if you're fighting with it.
This isn't written to include anti-paladin Touch of Corruption, but I could see a case for that because they are considered equivalent. This is probably older than anti-paladin is, so anti-paladin may have came out later than it. I don't know if that's a fact, but we can make that assumption.
I just assume there's an evil version for the anti-paladin because, yeah, they get a lot more leeway to use lay on hands as a combat tool, especially if you're doing the plague bearer kind of thing, because it's just distributing shitloads of contagion.
When your goal is bad touch.
Yeah, bad touch paladins are fun.
But yeah, I could see that. I could see the possibility of such a thing existing. It just doesn't currently exist.
Okay.
And arguably, this meditation crystal could probably be used that way too, or there could be the potential of having a negative version of it.
Sure.
It just doesn't currently exist.
DMs, take notes. Make all of these flippable.
Lamau.
Yeah.
Or don't if you don't want to encourage the anti-paladin to be a little bad touch shit.
If you've allowed an anti-paladin in your party, you know for a damn fact that they're gonna run around making everybody melt. For
or making
giggles.
bad decisions.
Oh, good characters make bad decisions.
True.
All the time.
Let's be fair. Bad decisions are player-oriented. They have nothing to do with the characters. The characters are just the poor monkeys that get thrown through those poor decisions.
Fair. Alright. So, Sanctified Rings is very DES-coded.
Yay! I love these.
Would you like to be the one
Sanctified... Oh, that's a shield. Ring.
It's literally the rings that you buy, like, for a couple. Where you get two, and a cleric channels into them, and basically if one of the people wearing the ring dies or removes it, the other ring instantly cracks, and the wearer knows if the person died or removed it. It's a great way if you don't have huge ways to keep track of everybody. I think these are 5 gold.
Yeah, they're
So
pretty cheap.
it's actually a very easy way to keep track of, like, your scout up ahead. Oh shit, they got killed.
The rogue's dead again, guys.
Good roleplay value, and yes, mechanical usage of, if the party ever splits, the party can instantly know who fucking just died.
In the case of my thing, it was kind of like the promise ring that my character got her girlfriend. You know, the absolute horrible item of we're both in combat, and if one of us goes down and that ring breaks, the other person is just absolutely not going to be fit to continue combat.
you know, lovely things like
What
that.
do you... Wait, hold on. What are you talking about? There's literally Jack over here with 5 different flavors of resurrection. What are you
I
talking
mean,
about?
Amala also has access to resurrection and stuff, so if it was like misery that went down. But Amala may be very, oh yeah, no, it's just death. I'll bring my sister back, no problem. When it comes to anybody else.
I don't know, it's just like, oh, they're just fucking dead again. Oh, damn it.
I mean, Bobble is on what, death 3, and Amaya's on death 2?
Yeah. God fucking damn it, Bauble, stop dying. God, top end D&D is fucking bullshit. Death is just a revolving door. God of War is fairly accurate, where Hades, hell, is just a revolving door.
Yeah. I mean, let's just let's look at that one meme where it's "Welcome to the end of everything." Event. Oh, it's you again. Hi.
It's you again.
Okay.
Big weekend? Yeah. Getting healed? Yeah, I'm getting healed. Hey,
I'll
did
see
you
you in about
redecorate? See you
5
next
minutes or
week.
so.
Yeah.
Alright, okay. Sanctified Shield
Death
time.
is a hit to the wallet.
Well, I say, it's like, hey, Death. Death himself. It's like, you can muddle time, right? In your own realm, yeah? Can you just pause it so we can have a drink and catch up before I'm resurrected in a round? There's a breath of life being wound up, I can feel it.
Oh my god.
First name status with Death.
Yeah. I'm sure
What are we
you got
doing?
that cozy. Sanctified Shield is next.
Fucking hell yeah, it was.
So, Sanctified Shield, it costs like 100 gold pieces to put onto any shield, and it gives the wielder a +1 sacred or profane bonus to AC that goes away if the wielder is struck in combat or after 24 hours.
Oh, it was like a Vindicator shield then.
Yeah,
A mini
it's a
version.
miniature Vindicator shield.
Okay.
I think it's pretty decent, personally, for only like 100 gold pieces. It's basically like +1 AC, and it'll stick around for as long as that person isn't getting hit. Which means it'll make it that much harder for mooks to take down like somebody with a decent AC, because if you're rocking a shield, you probably are enchanting that shield for the purpose of, and not getting hit in the face.
Or you're doing Shield Master and you're double dipping into just +5 to hit, +5 to damage, +5 to AC.
Yeah, exactly.
Shield Master's so good.
It's a cute small bonus, I think it's decent.
Yeah, it's good early on. Once you get to the later points, if something is going to hit you, it's going to hit you. It's like, my AC is in the high 60s or 70s. Yeah, but this thing's got like a +50 to hit. It's designed to just smash you.
Well, fortunately, at a value of like +100 GP, you can probably afford it early on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like poison.
I mean, we know.
Where...
Poison's only good when the alchemist is using it. Concentrated poisons, celestial poisons, sticky poisons. You actually have to have an alchemist to make it.
Yeah, but it's
if
not
you
like
have an
poison,
alchemist,
where poison is too low DC for too high a cost.
Yeah.
Pretty much throughout the game.
Like I said, an alchemist can make it work and good, but you need to have a player consign themselves into being the poison monkey.
Yeah. Alright. So the Spiked Focus Ward. This is another item that's definitely more of a DM tool. Players could probably try and make use of it. It basically holds a charge of channel energy and releases it on touch. It heals or damages at like half the cleric's channel value. It only holds for 24 hours. So, I don't know if it's quite ripe for player abuse. You could probably use some as a... We set these up the day before the next day in advance, and retreat 2 to get healing. But, yeah.
Do you know what I like the idea of? Let's say you're in some evil cleric's lair, a cleric-based lich, something, and then you find a voodoo doll with a bunch of nails in it. This voodoo doll is someone you know, and with the second someone picks it up, all of the nails in it just discharge.
That's rude.
I can think of a lot of ways as a DM to be baiting these. Or hell, you make a climb check up. Let's say there's a ladder in this layer. and it's all held together by these charge nails.
Right?
You go up a rung, you take some damage. You go up a rung, you take some fucking damage.
Keep in mind, there's a holy symbol attached to these nails. But yeah.
There's a little holy symbol on them. It's hammered into the nail head.
That's hypothetically kind of funny.
Is your
rude,
DM
but
enough of
kinda
a
funny.
bastard to pull this off? Probably not. Am I? Yes.
Very rude. But again, that's using it as a DM tool, not as a player tool.
Yeah, it's not a good player tool. I don't know. Your cleric is building a house and he just uses all of the entire house is held together by these nails. Undead. Anybody comes knocking, they're so fucked. Oh no, the vampires are trying to. The vampire spawn are clawing in through the boarded up windows. Ow! Fuck! Ow! Ow! This hypothetically in my head is going places.
That's silly. It's silly. It's a silly hypothetical. I dig it.
It would absolutely fuck it in a Curse of Strahd campaign because that happens so many times.
Having not played Curse of Strahd, I'll have to believe you, but I can imagine Curse of Strahd being
It happens a lot of times.
very,
Or
very
how-
pure-centric campaign.
I just thought of something silly to use this with.
Okay.
Do tell.
If you've got someone who's standing a little too far away for you to channel at them, and you don't want to move from your current position for any kind of reason, AOs or some shit like that, whatever. So you channel into one of these to give it the healing power, and then you just whip it at the guy's head.
Yeet!
He might take a damage from the spike hitting him, but...
Take 1d2 damage. Anyway, you can heal now. That is basically how... So in 3.5 there was an item. It was a troll shaman item. It was a club, and it did 1d8 bludgeoning damage, but also did 1d8 positive energy damage. Its purpose was to just beat the shit out of someone until you roll better healing the damage and slowly heal them. But damn, it worked on undead real well.
That does sound pretty funny for bonking undead. That sounds
Yeah.
amazing at bonking undead.
It was amazing at bonking undead. It was designed to just beat the shit out of somebody until they got better by rolling slightly more healing than damage.
Ooh, you could put the spiked focus ward on the inside of like a someone of the paladin's shield or something, or the fighter's shield or something. Just nail to
Here's
the
the thing.
inside.
Anything that's got rivets or nails in it, this can substitute for whatever reason you're going to be using a nail for. There's dumb scumbag shit like the fucking voodoo doll full of nails as a trap. But also, yeah, basically everything you wear as an adventurer has either got nails or rivets in it.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's held together.
Alright. We've probably spent enough time on the spiked focus ward though. The Stinging
That's
Whip. It's a metal whip that grants a bonus equal to the channel dice to the next disarm or trip maneuver that using it, and I feel like this is an item that could have a hilarious second look when we cover whips one day. It is Calistria coded, but
It is Calistria coded, it could also be Oracle coded. Like an Oracle of Battle or something.
whipping around a whip.
Well, I had one that had a meteor hammer and did pretty good work with it. I think there's things you can do with this. They're not going to be amazing, but there are things you can do with it.
Meteor hammer. Nice.
Yeah. She was, she had the blind curse. And a meteor hammer's range was basically the limit of her fucking vision.
Fair enough.
So if she could see you, she could beat the shit out of you.
Okay.
Dude, we had a super weird. One of the characters is somebody I used to know many years ago, and he got ultra protective over her, leading around by the hand. And it's like, I have a pseudo marshal that could literally fold you like laundry. It got really weird and creepy.
Yes, Jujitsu. The art of folding clothes with people still in them.
Involuntary yoga.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a small anecdote from my gaming history. Someone getting weirdly attached to my character.
Anyway, Stinging Whip could probably help make disarm and trip combat maneuvers better or decent. Maybe even good.
I mean,
does require
they
some channel
do-
resistance.
unless you focus into those, they tend to fall off. Especially when you get to the larger creatures that have got multiple legs or quadrupeds, because they're just basically impossible to trip.
Yeah, but like when you're adding, say, +6, +7, +8 at the higher levels
Yeah.
to your like
No,
attempt,
absolutely.
it's definitely helping you out.
I'm just speaking about the baseline. At a certain
Absolutely.
point, combat maneuvers sort of stop working, unless you are focused into using them. Whether it's favored class bonuses, stacking, enchantments, getting the DM to figure out how weapon qualities actually fucking work.
They don't.
That man, we need to just have a conversation at some point and just turn a video into weapon qualities and get all of the conflicting information people believe that they work like, how the game says they don't work or do work. Just turn it into an absolute clusterfuck of weapon qualities not functioning.
We can probably do that one day.
Hell yeah!
Anyways,
The weapon modification system where you can't actually build the basic weapons that are in the game.
Are you talking about the Build-A-Bear weapon system that Paizo put out?
Yeah, that they might as well not have because they absolutely didn't consider shit about it.
Yeah.
It's like they assumed it worked in a certain way, the same way we generally assume it works, and it just doesn't. And it's like, well,
I mean, it works fine. They just didn't give you enough points to put on the weapons.
Yeah, you can't act like Mir was trying to build a scythe one day, and found it was impossible to build a scythe. It was actually impossible to build.
So you get to make a custom weapon base, but it's not good enough to replicate even a basic weapon that you get just by.
Yeah.
At that point, wouldn't you just go buy that, then modify that instead? Like, shouldn't you realistically be? Oh, we're talking about two different systems, aren't we?
Possibly.
Okay.
I think you're talking about the weapon special abilities that like Trip, for example.
Yeah.
And Des is talking about the weapon creation system.
I didn't know there was a weapon creation system.
There is. It's
well,
bad.
Just pretend there isn't, because it doesn't work.
All right. Let's get back into channel foci. So, Sundered Mask is what's up next. This is another
I was reading
item.
this one. It's kind of nice.
Yes, it responds automatically to damage when the user, a devotee of Nethys, takes damage. It heals equal to the channel's healing or damage regardless of the energy type. So if you are a cleric that channels negative and you channel into your mask, when you take damage, this will automatically trigger healing you regardless of the fact that you channel negative.
This is a really good item. I think this is actually a pretty good item.
And the
It's
fact
a
that
good
it's
item.
24 hours, like imagine buying as many of these as you have channels just for those days where you don't use them. So you could just put a bunch of these, like have them prepped. Since it's 24 hours, okay, I put on my mask. Oh, I got hit. It went off. Okay, at the end of this combat, I switch masks.
It's literally what you're doing with the collected Sihesian amulets from the Rune Lords.
I stopped that when they started actually using them to talk through Amala.
Oh.
Yeah, not wearing these anymore.
When they started having a detrimental effect suddenly.
Coward.
Hey, that's how Amala does everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's good until it's not.
Yep.
Well,
I
you
will
don't wanna have the
abuse this
BBG
until
smack talking you.
I mean, Amala's more taking the precaution that what if the closer we get, if he's able to do something worse, like take control of me. Last thing I need is for him to have me start bombarding the group.
Smile.
Fair amount of paranoia, to be honest. Yeah.
But yeah, Sundered Mask, good item. You need to follow Nethys to be able to use it. But good item.
So,
Nethys
good
is not
item.
a bad god to thing. He's a decent.
He's not.
I like Nethys. Nethys is a cool deity.
He's perfectly fine.
I mean,
He's
he
not
may
bad
be
at all.
cool, but it ultimately boils down to the what's it called? The domains and the powers and stuff that you get. Because he could be a really cool deity, but being a cleric of him could be shite. And then even this mask won't really make up for that.
I mean, he also does offer some interesting, like, specific support from him. And additionally, being a neutral god, he can give you access to, like, the versatile channeler feat.
Nethys is one of those deities who falls under is like goblins. Goblins are the pet race of Paizo. Nethys is essentially the pet deity.
I never would
Nethys-
have guessed with their thing being the Archives of Nethys.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot! Maybe you have a point. Ha 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 ha.
They should have called it the Akashic Record, to be fair.
Actually, you know what? I agree.
Yeah, but they're the same thing. They're literally the same fucking thing.
No, Nethys is a god. The Akashic Record is that god's library.
All right.
Don't put okay, Melvin, calm down.
All right.
put
All
your
right.
fucking-
Actually,
Put your fucking nerd glasses on and your pocket protector.
I mean,
All
I'm not
right,
gonna take this
children,
from
let's-
someone who dissed Fighter so hard.
All right, children.
Boo.
All right, children. Let's refocus here. So the
Yes,
teaching
Mom.
staff. It offers members of the Channeler's faith a bonus on knowledge religion checks for a minute on activation. The bonus equal to channel dice. It's an AoE effect, and even at worst, it's giving you a bonus to your knowledge religion if you're using it.
Yeah, but you could like the only reason I see if you're having this is using it at the base of another item, and that alpenstock, that plus 5 additional base movement type speed for holding this thing. I'd rather have an alpenstock.
Well, keep in mind the Alpenstock's already a magic item, though. The teaching staff is a mundane item.
Oh yeah, we're talking about mundane items, aren't we?
Yes.
Never mind.
In context, that only makes it better.
Yeah, because you could turn this into an alpenstock.
Yes. Anyways, without much to say
A
on
winged
the teaching
fetish.
staff. Yeah. So the winged
This is
fetish
what
protects
actually has.
A winged fetish protects against undead. The first time the subject is attacked by an undead and that attack requires a saving throw, the user of the winged fetish gains a bonus to the saving throw equal to channel dice. It's also pharasma coded.
This is pretty Pharasman. So this is effectively an amulet you wear, and it's basically designed to stop that immune from 24 hours death ray the Bodax if they have to fire at you or something.
It will help you against it. Yes.
Yeah.
Or that first time that the Bodak looks at you with its negative energy eyes, or
A Vargwil starts to be a dick.
a vampire dominates.
Vardui.
I'm pretty sure it's a Vargwil.
Also
You already looked that up.
Oh yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was wrong already.
Also, Vargul are like outsiders and not undead.
Okay, look. Shut up. They look like undead and they act like undead.
A little bit, yeah.
Shut up. Stop making everybody realize that I'm bad at mechanics and forget everything. Shut up.
Yeah. Wing
Fighters
fetish,
are bad, shut up.
not a bad item.
So it's the saving throws against disease, paralysis, energy drain.
Well, it's
That's
such as. Those
basically
are
it.
examples. So,
Yeah, it's not.
anything that requires a saving throw from an undead that you could label as an attack. Bonus! That
It
could be very
remains
helpful.
charged until used or 1 hour passes. That duration.
It's a low duration, but realistically, when you enter, say, a dungeon, the combats are only taking like less than a
Minutes.
minute. So if you're going from combat to combat to combat, that hour is going to take a while to pass.
That's. Yeah, I suppose. You're
It's
looking at
kinda why
tactical
10
time
minute-
versus strategic time.
Yeah, like that's why 10-minute per level spells are effectively all day when you're dungeon crawling.
Yeah.
Alright. I don't hate this item. It can definitely, especially with higher numbers on your dice, can absolutely save. Especially a party member who may not have the best fortitude save, and you know for a
Or
fact
will
the
save.
dungeon's going to call for them. Or will save. What do
You can
fucking
protect.
barbarian.
You can protect your rogues.
Yeah.
Or you can protect your beef or your mages.
I don't hate this item. I actually like this item.
It's not a bad item.
This this also fulfills the niche of being an excellent baseline mundane item to craft your amulets into. That's what I think. And it's good on its own merits.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's also
Cool.
the last mundane object to discuss. So, shall we move on to traits now?
Oh, we're not going magic items next to stick with the
No, we're
item
going
theme?
traits next.
Okay.
We're going what next?
Traits.
Traits.
So,
Click.
to talk about some traits a little bit, in case you're not familiar with traits, you can only have one trait on your character from a given category of trait unless you meet specific requirements. So actually, when we start getting into these...
That might be something people forget, because I know I forgot it for the longest time. At character generation, you get 2 traits.
Yeah.
2 traits is basically the equivalent of 1 feat.
Roughly.
Make use out of it, because some of these traits are well worth more than the equivalent of a feat.
Ooh, I think you're going to be happy about some of these then, Wall.
To be fair, also, I mean, it doesn't really work with the religion, but for all of the others, you can absolutely go into those exalted traits if you're willing to spend feats on them, and then just start stacking.
What's an exalted trait?
Oh, you don't know what an exalted trait
Oh.
is?
No.
We'll have to show you those after. I think you'll be
Okay.
able to break them.
You'll like them.
Especially the
Alright.
social one.
I like how we've established that I am the stupidest person here who just gets everything wrong and yet is the first person to go to, by the way, break this. I am a creature of 2 fucking halves. The
Let's
duality
get
of man.
The double blank.
Channel Earth.
So,
go.
Channel the Earth. So, Channel the Earth is a regional trait. It's related to the Earth plane. When you channel positive to heal affected creatures, those creatures have a +2 to resist trip, reposition, and bull rush. When you channel negative to harm, you instead offer a -2 to those maneuvers. And I think this is a good trait.
Ooh, especially if you've got a variant channel that already slaps with a debuff, this will just vector into that.
Or apply some sort of, like, offer some sort of bonus that scales well into it, yeah.
I mean, Jack's channel look could work well with basically any of these additional boosts.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
it's
oh yeah,
an
you
additional
get
boost that you're getting from a trait that just applies to your channel.
True. See, giving somebody a +2 bonus or something is I mean, it's half a feat, isn't it? You normally get a +4 resistance. No, it's a +2.
No.
This is just
This
another
is-
feat. This is feat tier.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Some of them are, yes.
Okay.
Good
It's
trait.
kind of ridiculous.
I mean, against Trip, specifically, yeah. Because
Like,
Trip
you'll
is
see
the most common one that's going to ruin your day.
Yeah, at least among these 3.
Hmm.
Alright,
Yeah.
so, we also have, Bacon of Faith.
Bacon of
trait.
Faith.
Bacon of
Not
Faith!
beacon. Bacon.
Get cured in holy water. Mmm.
Delicious.
The holy brine.
And this allows you a free action to basically steroid a domain power or domain spell. This one
Ooh.
will probably come up again for Inquisitor. I think it's not a bad trait to consider, since like a once per day boost to a single spell or power can be a big thing.
I mean, +2 levels is effectively bumping up a dice if it's probably dice scaling. So you're
Or-
putting an additional dice in.
Depending on the spell, it might be
Plus-
2 dice.
Might be 2 dice. And it's is it DC based? No. You cast a... It depends what you're boosting. It could also be DC.
It probably won't be DC. It'll probably be damage, or it'll probably be duration, or maybe both. In some cases, like say Blade Barrier.
Blade Barrier is pretty good.
So Bacon of Faith, also a good consideration. Sacred Conduit. This one might make you smile, Wall. So Sacred Conduit is a generic +1 to DC for channeled energy. It's basically half improved channel, and it'll stack with it. And
Okay.
it's a fine feat, especially if you're going for like an offensive sort of channel.
It's an even better feat when you realize it's a trait.
Yes.
Yeah. Here we have a trait that is literally half a feat.
Yes. It's not the only one either. And it's a
I'm
faith.
sure it is.
It's a faith trait. So, Envoy of Healing. I think this one's kind of bonkers. It's a religion trait.
Requirements Serenray.
It requires you to be worshipping Serenray, yeah. And
Serenray.
it allows for this or that or this other to reroll their ones when they use their respective healing ability. You do need to use the new result. But this isn't once per day. This is every time that you're channeling or using Fervor or you're using Lay on Hands. You roll a 1, you can reroll those ones.
So is it's effectively what is it? Devastating sneak attack that lets you just bump all your 1s to 2s.
It's not bumping your 1s to 2s. You're rerolling.
It's
them,
rerolling.
which is
I mean,
arguably
I'm saying arguably it is, but what are the odds of rolling another nat 1?
depending on how
What do you
Roll20
think?
feels, to be honest.
True. Yeah, no, I'm.
This is a
This
trait.
makes channel. This makes your channel tool infinitely fucking better. Because
Now, like-
bad luck protection is just ridiculously powerful.
You know, it's only work on the healing side, but that's probably the side you're probably using more, to be honest. And then we have the Flames of Hell. It's another religion trait. And, this is basically Sacred Conduit, but different. It's associated with Archdevils. It increases channel DC by 1, but in a different way that would stack with Sacred Conduit. But it's not adding a trait bonus, it's just increasing the DC by 1. And you can take it with Sacred Conduit because this is a religion trait and the other one is a faith trait.
It's like, okay, you're probably going to need to be lawful, evil, or a tiefling.
Possibly. Regardless, it's bonus DC, it'll stack with Sacred Conduit.
To be fair, the biggest problem with the religion traits is typically they require you to follow a specific religion.
Yeah, and this one asks for you to worship any Archdevil.
Okay, as I said, you need to be lawful or evil led to do it.
Yeah. You are limited in deity, which is a drawback.
I mean, you can afford lawful neutral
You could.
for a healer. You can afford to be that. It makes you a fucking arsehole of a cleric, though. But, meh.
Yeah. You'd probably only be doing this if you're doing some sort of offensive negative energy channeler anyways, to be strictly honest.
Yep. True. I mean,
Acolyte?
you could do the variant. You could do the multi-channel thing where you get access to both of them. There's things
True.
you can do with it, as long as you can justify it.
So, Acolyte of Apocrypha,
This is
It's
a lot of things.
yeah, it's a trait that basically unlocks additional subdomain options for certain deities. This can kind of be build defining. Therefore, it's probably a good trait if you're wanting access to literally any of these subdomains on any of these deities. As I do the slow scroll back and forth to make sure that they can be seen.
I do actually have a fondness for the hubris domain out of Glory or something. Hubris is pretty. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I have a fondness for it. I mean, the insect domain is also pretty powerful. At least there's two of them, isn't there? And one's really good and one's kind of garbage.
I think you're thinking about the vermin domain.
I am.
Insect is a subdomain of animal. So you're pulling off the animal's domain, which is already a pretty decent domain. And it's not replacing the
gonna
animal
op-
companion, which is the important part.
I kind of want to open this legend domain. Oh, it's a subset of Glory. What do you get?
Yeah.
Replacement power. Hero's Fortune as a bonus feat. Otherwise, you get Mark for Glory. As a bonus. I kind of understand why these are build defining, because I'm just reading the replacement power for Legend, and those aren't insignificant.
Yeah. They're adding more options to a cleric worshipping whatever specific deity that they're worshipping.
Adding more
Like-
options to a cleric, and as we have just gone through 4 fucking videos, they have a lot of options.
Yeah. Well, this is like On a cleric by cleric basis, yeah. And if we're done with the Acolyte Apocrypha, here's a weird one. Pact Servant. It allows for Asmodeus to be treated as a lawful neutral deity for the purpose of determining what your alignment may be. This could allow you to be a neutral or lawful good cleric of Asmodeus. You lose access to like taking the evil domain unless you're also evil. It's kind of a bizarre trait.
I mean, it definitely feels like the Enlightened Warrior that you get on the Asimar to be able to just do neutral good paladin things. Or whatever.
I'm just like stuck on imagine being a lawful good cleric of Asmodeus. And trying to emphasize his good qualities.
You can definitely do it. Like, if ignoring the fucking soul torture and soul rape to get more devils. There is law, there's a
You've
effectively got civilization. You kind of have civilization in the good side of it. You follow the law, you do your duty, you don't lie to people, you don't rob people. You can rob them, you gotta do it lawfully.
Oh, okay.
You don't deceive people. You use their own stupidity against them. Oh god, I can't do it! It's society in a nutshell. Good and bad. There. You get caught, you're a fucking paladin of Comcast.
If you treated Asmodeus as a lawful neutral deity in all aspects, it does open up like more opportunities for different feats.
Yeah, it does. Just so long as you don't make me start justifying Asmodeus as lawful good and then trip up over myself immediately.
I know, right?
You need a bigger brain player than me to do that.
I mean, you'd be just fine as lawful neutral, not lawful good.
I would.
You'd just be a nice person about it, probably. Maybe. Or you'd have a severe case of paladinitis. With a capital L.
At that point, you're just fucking rolling a Hell Knight.
Oh, this probably could let you do a paladin of Asmodeus. That could be interesting.
That's a very confused paladin!
It's a very confused paladin. Anyways, Urban Acolyte. So, Urban Acolyte is kind of like Acolyte of Apocrypha. It unlocks certain subdomains for associated domains that you normally would be unable to access. Again, can be build defining. Because, like, these subdomains are not subdomains that gods have access to normally.
What the fuck is the Riot domain? Oh, it's just a subdomain of Chaos.
Yes.
Aura of Bedlam. At 8th level, you can emit a 30-foot radius of aura, a 30-foot radius aura of chaos and strive for 1 round per cleric level. Each enemies in the aura take a -4 penalty to concentration checks and treated as experience and vigorous emotions when attempting to cast spells. It increases by 1 for every 2 cleric levels you have beyond 8th. Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got enemy caster hoser.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So, Kobold Faith. This one's a race trait. For kobolds. You might be surprised to hear. You get a bonus diplomacy with other kobolds, and you get access to subdomains if your deity offers certain domains. So, you get to add more subdomains to your domain list as a kobold. It's like Babby Urban Acolyte or Babby Acolyte of Apocrypha, but for kobolds. It's being a race trait, but does mean it stacks with most faith and whatnot traits that normally won't stack with each other. So then we have here Exalted of the Society.
This is one of those PFS traits that generally requires you to be part of the PFS.
Yes, it does.
I think one of our DMs actually nixed these. I think it was Z who said no. But probably Kai as well. He was like, nah, don't do these. You're not using them because you're not part of the PFS.
Yeah. That sounds like
They are
them.
powerful. They are
Yeah,
powerful.
and this one,
They are
it
very
grants
good.
you a bonus channel.
Oh.
+1 channels.
Oh. Trait extra channel, or miniature extra channels.
Mini trait extra channel.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Granted, you never really find yourself not having never enough channels, I've noticed. It's one of those resources that you're not quite using as much as the other things that have extra, whatever, like extra rage, extra bombs, extra discovery.
I mean, I think Jack has seldom run out, and I know Elma ran out every once in a while when she was using it with her Touch of the Grave power to, or Death Kiss power, whatever it was called, to convert somebody to be treated as undead so she could just power heal them real quick with channel.
True. I mean, you're a Vindicator Agent of the Grave Cleric. You had some shenanigans going on.
Yeah, and
which
she
most
also
clerics don't have.
She was also running out of channels faster when she was using Bless Equipment and Channel Smite, because that became part of her evergreen damage tool.
Cleansing Light.
Cleansing Light. So, Cleansing Light, it's another religion trait that's also Saren Ray, and I think this one's worse than the other Saren Ray trait, because all this one does is basically lets you reroll your ones versus your channels versus undead. Because you'll be using this a lot less than its cousin back there, I feel like this one's worse. It does help you do reliably more damage to undead.
This is that thing that Des pointed out. It's like, it's more assistance in hosing undead on a thing that hoses undead in everything it does.
Yeah. At least this one's only a trait.
Child of the Necropolis.
Child of the Necropolis, also from Neth, is called Child of Wati. It is a regional trait. It's associated with Osirian, and it allows your cleric level to be treated as 1 higher when channeling to damage undead. It cannot go above your actual cleric level, so it only matters if you're multiclassing on like an even cleric level.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's not great. In order to make use of it, you have to multiclass.
I suppose this is specifically for like what you were doing with the Agent of the Grave, Vindicator, Cleric nonsense, where it's just you want to support something else you're doing.
Yeah.
You kind of got to be planning for that, though.
Yeah. The thing about the Holy Vindicator, that wouldn't even work with this, because Holy Vindicator levels stack with your cleric levels already.
Sure. But you're also Agent of the Grave.
True. Agent of the Grave would. Yeah. Yeah.
So it can assist in some prestige cases as well, if you're planning to prestige.
Yeah. If you were planning to prestige, this could help get your cleric level up 1 higher. Again, you'd still have to basically be prestiging at level 7 instead of like level 6 though, because it really would only matter if your cleric level was an even one to bump you up to the next channel dice.
True. Now we're on to Holy Tattoo, which everybody knows about.
Yeah, it's like great. It's amazing.
It's a regional trait, and it's basically a free tattoo holy symbol. It also has like a 3 DC higher for keeping vampires at bay, which is a niche add-on, but it does save you 100 gold for a sick tat, so that kind of makes it just not a bad trait on its own. Being regional means that it'll stack with more of these traits as well.
Let's also be fair. It's just nice to have, because if your gear and shit gets stolen, you can still do things like channel and stuff like that, because I believe it says under things like channel you have to present your holy symbol.
Yeah.
So this tattoo is just always there. Just rip your shirt open and bare your chest and fire off the holy energy.
Behold my sick tat of whichever god this is. Beam energy. Alright. And then we have Birthmark, which is kind of like its faith trait cousin. Birthmark also functions as a holy symbol. It gives you a +2 trait bonus versus Charm and Compulsion. Being a faith trait means it stacks with like less faith traits, but it does have a slightly better secondary bonus.
You are a little off on that though. It doesn't serve as a holy symbol. It serves as a divine focus for casting spells.
Fair.
Your holy symbol is your
divine focus for casting spells.
What you're not
but if
doing is
something
presenting
calls...
it to vampires.
Yeah, well,
No.
because what I'm saying is, if something says you have to present a holy symbol, the birthmark wouldn't work because it counts as a divine focus for casting spells, not for.
That's fair.
You know, Des, I've used this birthmark before and I've seen it used, and everybody just treats it as a fucking holy symbol.
Well, you're all cheaters.
Yeah.
Because it's very clearly written, it only counts as a divine focus for casting spells.
Sure does.
Yeah, fair.
Fuck you, I'm gonna put a holy tattoo on my birthmark.
Oh no. I mean, you could stack them. Oh no, they're stacking. Whatever shall we do?
Actual stacking buffs. Physically stacking the buffs.
They're physically being stacked.
When you're-
Alright. Covert Channeler. Here's another faith trait. Woo! This one lets you draw or stow your holy symbol as a swift action.
It's quick draw for your
It's-
holy symbol.
It's also quick stow for your holy symbol.
Okay, so to make this work, you really need to have your weapon be your holy symbol. You need to have whatever weapon you have be counted as your holy symbol. And you can
So
get
one of
quick
those
touch
cleric-y things where you're allowed to do like, oh, this hammer is my holy symbol.
Yeah.
It does benefit your action economy a bit.
Ooh, this is good. If you're doing it that way around, this is fucking good.
That's where the average DM looks at you and like, yeah, smartass, that's a hammer, not a holy symbol. I don't care if it counts as a holy symbol. Smacks you across the head.
But my deity is Torag, and his holy symbol is literally the hammer. Just getting fucking nailed by a hardback PDF.
No, your deity is the DM, and you're gonna shut the fuck up right now.
That's the
Doesn't
kind of
go-
DM I would not get along on, because basically every time I open my mouth, they're going to be mad at me.
Hey, hey, I'm not your DM, and every time you open your mouth, I'm mad at you. So,
Yeah, but
Oof.
for completely different reasons.
yes.
Oof. Alright. Also, I'm pretty sure there's that feat that does let your, like, hammer be your holy symbol or something.
Yeah, we went over it last
Yeah.
video at some point.
Well, there's just reliquary weapon that makes it a holy symbol.
Yeah. Yeah, if your DM is willing to allow the cheese, this is absolute hilarious cheese. Because I'm not going to say much about the quick draw because that's easy to get, but quick stow is a pain in the ass because it's got the tax feat of quick draw. So this having both built into one.
Yeah.
Like, being able to swift action put your weapon away is a much bigger deal than being able to swift action draw it. Because drawing
here's
can
the
be,
thing.
like, part of a movement once you have
You've got your
DAD.
reliquary shield, or your reliquary weapon, where your weapon is a holy symbol. You could get your shield to also be presenting a holy symbol, so you've got quick draw, quick stow on basically everything you could ever want in your hand at any given time.
Somebody ambushes the cleric, and suddenly their weapon and shield just appear on their arms. What? When did you pull those out? Always had them.
Always has been.
Or
Or you're doing the Constantine build, where you're literally just beating things to death with a holy symbol.
So
you
it's
know.
literally a CRPG draw.
It really is, actually. What a
Alright.
good trait.
What a very trait. Alright, so these last two traits, they're both campaign traits, and thus you probably won't have them, but if your DM lets you have them. True Devotion. True Devotion gives you a 20% chance once per day to not consume a spell when you cast it. It also will let you use like the first power of a selected domain or Inquisition an additional time per day. It requires you to be of good alignment and be able to cast divine spells.
That's pretty good as well. Well, the campaign traits are all kind of good.
Yeah, campaign traits by rule are generally pretty good.
I'm not liking that 20% thing though, because if you read it, it seems to be like you have to choose to try and do it like when you cast the spell, and if you don't get the 20, well, your use for the day is used up anyway.
Yeah.
Fair.
Which kind of makes it feel a bit like worse. Like if it could just be a once per day, you will save a spell as long as you get a 20% or under. It's just it's one of those situations where like, yeah, roll it every time you cast a spell and hope one of them just comes back. But in that case, like, but I guess it is a trait.
Yeah. It is a trait.
Well,
It has a chance
it
of
is
saving
also
a spell slot.
it is also additional uses of your domain powers, and they can be quite powerful in and of themselves.
Can be.
So if you've got the correct domain powers as well, it's also just an additional use of those, which is in itself is also quite valuable.
Yeah, the first granted power, you just have to pick one that has a good power.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of like first level powers that are just shite.
Kinda.
I mean, it's like looking at the
underwhelming.
air domains, where it's like, oh, you use it on a ranged weapon, it just gives you far shot built in, Lamau. There's just stuff like that. There's evergreen that can be good use out of it. Oh, your boy Eris still, Cleric, comes back.
It always leads back
Hey.
to Aerosol, doesn't it?
Always.
Always has been. Anyways, there's another campaign trait here to discuss, and Student of Faith. Rise of the Rune Lord's Anniversary Edition, apparently. I didn't know
Does
this
Jack
was a
have
thing.
this?
No.
I know
So,
I looked at Student of Faith.
What this does is basically gives you +1 caster level to like cure spells, and a +1 trait DC to channel energy.
Jesus Christ. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. Just generally good.
It is generally good.
Also,
put-
I guess that would be in the book that I loaned to my friend because I have the anniversary edition. Huh.
Probably.
I mean, it definitely gives you an extra dice on your channel earlier.
And just casting all your cure spells at +1 caster level means that they're gonna cap out a little quicker.
True.
Like having this at level 1 means you do a D8 +2 instead of a D8 +1, which can mean the difference between like half healthing someone and a sad heal.
Yeah.
I mean, early game, you don't have a lot of hit points. Let's look at Zoe level 1, 12 hit points. Let's look at Frey level 1, 6.
When I saw someone get hit for 8 damage, I'm just sitting there going, "Oh my god, I am going to die here."
Right?
I
You
mean,
there, random peasant, protect me.
the amount of players and times I've been killed by a barbarian or a fighter with a greatsword at level 1 is really up there.
Okay,
It's many.
it's not an actual physical game, but I played the Dungeons and Dragons PSP game once, and I
Right.
had made my whole party of characters. And for the first mission, I got to send in. It was the first time I had ever seen a psychic warrior, so I had made my main character a psychic warrior. I go into the first battle with the goblins, and it's like, okay, you get to only bring 2 characters. Okay, I'll bring the barbarian as backup because I don't know what the psychic warrior can do. Barbarian goes into one room and takes out 3 dudes. I'm like, okay, awesome. During the first 3 turns, I'm buffing my character with all these cool psychic abilities. I'm like, awesome. My AC's over 20. I'm gonna be one-shotting anything. I walk into the room, Goblin pings me with a critical, insta-kills my guy. She's like, oh. Barbarian
Wow.
comes running in and just smacks it down because, you know, barbarian things. And that's when I was like,
That's
psychic
unlucky.
warrior. Sad. Sad.
That's unlucky.
Spend 3 turns buffing just to get 1 tapped. It's like
Sweet
Dragon
strat.
Ball. And then bapped in the face. Done.
Level 1 combat in a nutshell.
You
Yeah.
know? Oh.
Alright, so that's it on traits. What are our closing thoughts currently?
Why
God
is there
damn it.
so much cleric?
You know?
Because it's very supported. That's all I got.
Because the cleric supports you, so you better support him.
True.
You know? Good answer. Well, if you like what we do, consider leaving a like, maybe subscribe, possibly leave a comment. Bye!
Ciao!
Bye.